I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. Mr. Tolman, are we all in the database? Every single person, every single American?
Yes.
Yeah, this database is huge, right? They're getting information on foreigners, but we're all getting swept up in this. So this is one giant, I call it the giant haystack of information, and you got 10,000 people at the FBI who can just, I'm gonna search on Mr. Tolman, on Ms. Goyton, I'm gonna search on whoever I darn well want. And they've demonstrated that they can't police themselves. Whatever the agency is, whatever rules they have, they can't police themselves. So this is why Congress has to do it. And why not use the tried and true rule? That to me is like, this is how big this is. I want to go down through a couple things here that have been raised. First of all, to gentleman from Tennessee's questions, and getting people's toll records. I do have a concern with this because some of this was done for a long period of time. Mr. Smith went and got the toll records subpoenaed from the carriers, the toll records of the Speaker of the House of Representatives. And frankly, he waited until Mr. McCarthy became Speaker of the House to go get his toll records from 3 years prior. And the real concern I have with that is they did it for a 2-month time span. So to Ms. Goytin's statement, you can pattern someone's life. You can figure out all kinds of things because they knew who Mr. McCarthy called, who called him, when the call took place, how long it lasted, and if Kevin initiated the call, they knew where he was at when he did so. Well, Shazam, you can figure all kinds of things out. So that's the concern when they do this, and we need to, I think, frankly, look at that. That's why this committee passed the non-disclosure, the gag order. So that's the other thing. They get that information, and then they tell the judge, they go to the judge, tell the carrier, tell AT&T that they can't tell the customer that the government just got their phone logs for 2 months, can pattern their life and know all that stuff I just talked about. That's a concern. And so we've passed legislation out of this committee, we hope it passes the House here soon, which puts limits and restrictions on that, not just for members of Congress, of course, but again, to everyone. You think that's a good piece of legislation we passed, Mr. Tolman? I'll come to you.
It's essential.
Yeah, it's essential. Everyone agree with that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we got the NDO issue. Mr. Raskin and I were talking about these areas of concern with privacy. We have the third-party data, purchasing data, what we call the Fourth Amendment's not for sale. Because if you can buy stuff that would otherwise require a warrant, you shouldn't be able to do that. So we got to do some work on that issue. Then there's the fundamental question we're asking for FISA 702. Go get a warrant before you get the ability to search people's. And then there's this compilation of data. And so I'm just interested, any thoughts you have on, should we're trying to strategize, the ranking member and I and the committee, how much do we try to put in 702? Do we do separate legislation? We're trying to figure that out too. But I'm just curious, any thoughts that you would have? Maybe we'll just go down the line. So let's start with the Democrat, or Ms. Goytin, and then we'll move across.
Yeah, I think you really can't address Section 702 in isolation because Section 702 is part of a vast ecosystem of often overlapping surveillance authorities. And if you cut off one avenue of surveillance, the government might be able to turn to another or to exploit gaps in this network of laws to conduct surveillance without any statutory authorization.
You think we should try it all together?
Well, it's not that. Frankly, there's a lot you could address, and we're not really talking about everything here. I think the 4 reforms that have been specified here today are certainly a good place to start, right? And that is a warrant or a Title I order for backdoor searches. That's closing the data broker loophole, fixing the electronic communication service provider definition, and shoring up the role of amici in the FISA court.
Thank you.
I agree with Ms. Goytin that at least for the purposes of FISA that we want to focus on those 4 key reforms because I think that those are the most promising things that we can get addressed. And then for the other kinds of things that you're highlighting, there are other vehicles that we can go and explore in terms of pushing forward.
And I would not limit yourselves to FISA reforms writ narrowly. As you all are much more aware than we are, there are only limited windows when legislation can actually get passed by both chambers and signed by the president. And those don't come along all that often, and I think it's important to take advantage of them when they do.
Thank you.
I would just lastly say, why aren't they capable of self-governing in this area? And we have to remember, post 9/11, we shifted the FBI and the Department of Justice's overarching mandate to intelligence gathering for national security purposes. So once you do that, their mentality is not to self-govern.
$12 billion we give to the FBI, that's their budget. Over half of it is used on the surveillance stuff. Versus, I mean, you go talk to average American, they would say like, what? Well, I thought the FBI was supposed to be going after traditional bad guys, not spying on Americans. So you're exactly right. That is a problem. One last thing, and I know I'm a little over time. I'll give it a little more time to the next Democrat witness. Someone said, let it expire. I forget which of you said that in your opening, Mr. Tolman, the guy who helped put it together. Give me your thoughts on that.
Well, you know, without wisdom, and in my youth, I bought everything that was, you know, argued by the Department of Justice as to why they needed it. Then you see their incapability of actually governing themselves with such power. It would be like 215. We let that expire, and here we are still stopping national security threats.
Yeah.
We didn't think that was possible when 215 expired.
Yep.